Good morning, students. Now we will go through the calculation of risks in a cohort study. A cohort study on development of lung cancer among smokers. The framework is as shown below. Okay. There were 7,000 smokers and 3,000 non-smokers. Among 7,000 smokers, 70 developed lung cancer in the follow-up period. Among 3,000 non-smokers, only 3 developed lung cancer during the follow-up period. Incidence rates of lung cancer among smokers is A divided by A plus B. A is the number of people who develop lung cancer among smokers. A plus B is the total number of smokers. So 70 divided by 7,000, that is 10 per thousand. Incidence rate of lung cancer among non-smokers is equal to C divided by C plus D. C is the number of people who develop lung cancer among non-smokers. C plus D is the total number of non-smokers. So 3 divided by 3,000, that is 1 per thousand. Relative risk is the ratio of incidence of disease among exposed group and the incidence of disease among non-exposed group. Some authors use the term risk ratio to refer to relative risk. Incidence rate of lung cancer among smokers is 10 per thousand. Incidence rate of lung cancer among non-smokers is 1 per thousand. So, relative risk or risk ratio will be incidence rate of lung cancer among smokers divided by incidence rate of lung cancer among non-smokers. So, it will be 10 per thousand divided by 1 per thousand. So it is 10 divided by 1 is 10. Relative risk is a direct measure of the strength of association between suspected cause and effect. Here suspected cause is cigarette smoking. Effect is lung cancer. A relative risk of 1 indicates no association. What it means? Relative risk of 1 means that the risk of development of lung cancer among smokers is equal to risk of development of lung cancer among non-smokers. Relative risk greater than 1 suggests that there is a positive association between exposure and the disease under study. A relative risk of 2 indicates that incidence rate of disease is 2 times higher in the exposure group as compared to the unexposure group. This represents a 100% increase in risk. Okay. A relative risk of 0.25 indicates that there is a 75% reduction in the incidence rate in the exposed individuals as compared to the unexposed individual. A relative risk of 0.25. That means the risk of development of disease is only 25% in the exposed group. That means there is 75% reduction in the incidence rate of disease in the exposed individual as compared to unexposed individuals. Attributable risk. Attributable risk indicates to what extent the disease under study can be attributed to the exposure. Attributable risk is often expressed as a percentage. The formula for attributable risk is incidence of disease rate among exposed minus incidence of disease among non-exposed divided by incidence of disease among exposed multiplied by 100. So here, incidence of disease among exposed group is 10 per thousand. Incidence of disease among non-exposed is 1 per thousand. So the formula will be 10 minus 1 divided by 10 multiplied by 100. So it is 90%. 90% of the lung cancer among smokers was due to their smoking. 10% of lung cancer among smokers was due to some other causes. But 90% of lung cancer among smokers was due to smoking. This suggests the amount of disease that might be eliminated if the factor under study could be controlled or eliminated. So, if we remove the risk factor, that is smoking, we can remove 90% of the lung cancer, that is attributable risk. Now we can go through another concept, that is population attributable risk. It is the incidence of disease in the total population minus incidence of disease among those who were not exposed to suspected causal factor. So we have to find out the total number of death or disease in the total population. Then number of disease or death among those who are not exposed to the risk factor. Okay, in this picture you check number of deaths in total population is 74. Number of deaths among non-smokers is 10. Okay, so population attributable risk will be number of deaths in total population minus number of deaths among non-smokers divided by number of deaths in total population. So here 74 minus 10 divided by 74. That will be 86%. Look at the last line. Population attributable risk means C minus B divided by C. C is the number of deaths in total population minus B. B is the number of deaths in non-smokers divided by number of deaths in total population. So 74 minus 10 divided by 74. So 64 divided by 74. That is 86%. One might expect that 86% of deaths from lung cancer could be avoided if the risk factor of cigarettes were eliminated. Thank you.